Hey everyone, how are you doing today? I wanted to show you an install of the Boomba short throw shifter. This is going to definitely lower the throw as well as just crisping up my shifts. This is what it looks like here, coming out of the box. You'll notice right here, and I've already just kind of messed with it to make sure it worked, there is a little lock ring. So I just went to the store, I bought this tool for $10, and it comes with just the local auto parts store. It comes with what I need to be able to get that lock ring off. So messing with that, I'll get to it a little bit later on in the install, but I'm going to jack the car up and then show you what the play looks like right now with the shifting. Okay, so some of you may find this interesting. What I did was measure from here to the very lip of the shift knob, and that was 6 inches. From here to the very lip was 6.5, and then from the side right here to this lip was 6.25. Whenever I put the shifter in fourth, from the bottom to the top, I'll go ahead and pull it back so you see exactly what I'm talking about. This measurement was 5.25. Whenever I was in third, that was 5.75. Now be aware yours may be a little bit different with the actual shifting, because I do have the shifter plate installed already, so that tightened up a lot of the throw. But the main thing with these measurements that I'm giving you is I think it's going to be exceptionally smaller, since the Boomba short throw shifter is going to bring the knob down quite a bit. So whenever you're underneath here, you're going to take off the heat shield. It's going to be a bolt here, and I already took this one off. You're going to have to use a flat wrench since your downpipe will be in the way. So 1, 2, and then as you go down here to the bottom, 1, 2, so 4 total, and these are 12 millimeters. So you're gonna see a 10 millimeter right here, and then right there, and right there. Basically there's 4 around the edges. You're going to be taking those off now and removing this plate. You're going to see right here there's a little silver metal piece. You're going to put a flathead in here, pry that apart, and then on this side here there's some 2 little pins that are a V shape. You're going to lift them and separate them out, and this white piece should disconnect. And there's going to be 4 10 millimeter nuts. You're going to remove those 2 on this side right where my fingers are, and then 2 right here on the other side. Whenever you're seated inside of your car, you're going to remove this little black part out, but you're going to see 2 Phillips head screws. They're right where my fingers are, as well as for your e-brake. You're going to pop it up a little bit, and there is another one right there, that little silver part that you see. One thing I may recommend is, if you're just pulling on this, what makes it so much easier is just buying some nylon pry tools. I basically just put this in the side right here and pulled, or I mean just kind of like wiggled, and this popped right up. Makes it so much easier. Once you have the 2 in the back, the one right here, it's best to grab on the side and maybe right here, pull this up and out. Then you can lift up here a little bit, grab right here, and pull this center back, and then you should be able to lift it up while this stays in place. So I'm going to take care of that now, and I'll get back with you here shortly. I have everything taken apart now. Basically your next step is going to be to remove these 2 Phillips head screws right there, and then there's going to be 4 12 millimeter bolts, 1 here, 1 right there. On this side there's going to be 1 right there, and then 1 on the top. So I'm going to take these 2 Phillips head screws out, and then the 4 12 millimeter bolts. Once you do that, you're going to be working right here, and I'm going to be prying this apart, basically separating these 2 pieces. As you can see, that's where it separates at. Once you have that separated, you can just pull, and then you can take this whole shifter assembly piece out. So I just want to give you some quick tips. Whenever I did this, it looked like in some other videos some people struggled with getting this apart. all I did was use some long needle nose, just put it on each side, squeeze, and just barely even just gave it any pressure, and it came like right apart. So that's simple. One other thing I noticed too is that if you look right here, there's some yellow lines on both sides, and they're actually connected, so just use the needle nose again and pop those out. Now that the shifter's out, I'm going to remove these two Phillips head screws for these brackets, as well as this 12mm bolt. Now I have everything removed here. I'm going to move over to the other side, and there's going to be two 7mm right there and right there. I'm going to go ahead and take those out, as well as I believe it's a 10 right here. So you're going to take that out, but you may need either some pliers or a 17mm wrench just to hold this part on the other side. And once you have the nut taken off, this bolt is going to come all the way out. I got these nuts removed, as well as this bolt and nut pulled out from right here. Now the next step is just to pull this off, and this piece will come off as well. And just set it down, make sure you're really light so nothing kind of jiggles around or messes up within here. It should just come off, where you can put it right back on. And then once you have this removed, you're going to be able to pull these bolts out that were connected to the two 7mm nuts. Once you have those out, you can pull up on this piece, and it should come off from this stock bottom part here. Now that you have this taken off, there's going to be two 10mm bolts here. You're going to undo those, and then this bottom black piece will come off, as well as there's going to be a gasket around this white that you see. You'll remove the gasket as well as this white cover. Just want to let you guys know, it's been about 30 minutes later. The issue that I had was whenever I was trying to take that bottom screw out, it was getting stuck right there because it was spinning. So what I did was put some super glue in there, and it held it in where I was able to get it out. Next thing you're going to want to do is to remove this rubber part, little ring around there. And if you look right there, there's going to be a bolt, and you're going to punch that through. Once that bolt is punched through, you can pull this whole assembly out from this little plastic piece here. Now this is what I was talking about earlier. You're going to use your little snap pliers, take this off, take the washer off, take the spring off, and then you're going to use a Allen key here, take this off, and remove this whole shift assembly. That way you can fit it underneath the plastic part there. So one thing to notice, and what causes a lot of people issues, is this flat part here. The flat is on the same as this little bulge piece sticking out to the right. So whenever you put this back on, you want to make sure that the flat piece is in the same direction of where my pinky is here. For those of you that are curious, this is what the difference looks like. Boomba versus stock. As you can see, I'll set it right up against here. You have a whole lot more length on the original piece. I'm going to transfer this part over to here, and then grease this all up. We'll start putting it back on the new with the old shifter assembly here. Now I have the shift assembly all put together here, and basically you just put it back exactly the way it came out. You don't have to worry about the clip that you had punched out, as well as anything existing from the original OEM shifter. So now I'm going to just start putting it all back together. If you guys have any questions on putting it back together, you can let me know. But besides that, it's basically the way you took it apart is the way it goes back. So here's the actual shift knob now with the Boomba short throw shifter. As you can probably see right away, the actual boot is tucked down, which actually is a little bit cleaner look. But wanted to give you some specs now. From here to here is, from this distance from before, that's 4.5 inches, originally 6 inches. From here to here, it's 4 3/4 inches, originally 6.5 inches. From here to here is now 4¼ inches, originally 6¼ and then whenever you're in fourth, this distance is only 3¼ which is crazy how short it is. And whenever you're up in third, that distance is going to be 4 inches. So overall, I mean, just by looking at my little sheet I made here, pretty cool. Just by looking at the sheet I made here, it knocks off about 0.75 inches on everything. So it's definitely worth it, and looking forward to driving with it. As always, thanks for enjoying this video here, and hope you guys subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram at WRX Snowboarder as well. And as always, happy driving and enjoy.